These aren't usually one shot on Ruthless, are they? Alright, so I've seen a few clips of some bugs recently, and definitely I'm going to get to all of them when I have some time. But this one, I feel like this is a bug that has been around for a while, and I just kind of want to circle back to this one because I really hope they do something about this. And yes, unfortunately, we are talking about zoanthropes today. Now, I have, in the past, at least a little bit before patch 7, I was playing a lot of sniper. So I wasn't too worried about zoanthropes, but going back to playing, bulwark and assault, zoanthropes are just sometimes a tad bit annoying. Ultimately, I think bulwark and pretty much every class at this point has the capabilities to find some way to get rid of zoanthropes. And I think one of the coolest things they have done recently for that has been the gunstrike mechanic for zoanthropes, dodging the beam and getting a gunstrike. But I have to admit, interacting with this mechanic does feel a little bit frustrating now, and we have a clip that perfectly shows the example of what I'm talking about. And if there's a bug that is happening in this clip, I really hope they fix it. It would be nice to see a patch. Like, we do get some bug fixes, but I feel like sometimes we take a step forward and a step backward at the same time for bugs, because sometimes there are bugs that are introduced in new patches. So, yeah, you see what I'm getting at? I really hope they kind of circle back to the, the zoanthrope's death beam right now, because apparently it's hitting twice. So, as the title explained, we are on Ruthless here. Plasma Tactical, very good build. Looks like they have a Heavy and a Vanguard teammate. Ooh, that is... Okay, hold on. Let's just circle back to that perfect dodge here. That was a really good dodge. He does dodge to the side here. You can basically get the perfect dodge if you time it correctly wherever you dodge from. Like, basically, you see how he's dodging to the left there? You can at least get the perfect dodge no matter what, as long as you dodge correctly. However, yeah, he gets punished for it. So even though he did it in a way that, normally people dodge forward, but I'm still saying, like, yeah, you can dodge to the side to get that perfect dodge. He does kind of dodge forward a little bit, but that's still a very, very good perfect dodge. Like, this player really deserves to be rewarded for this. And instead, they get a face full of death beam. Like, unfortunate. Honestly, the gunstrikes should like stun the zoanthropes. You know what I mean? Like, zoanthropes, I don't understand how they could just take a gunstrike like that. Like, normally, like, gunstrikes stun Majorus. You would think Majors are a little bit more like poisey. They probably have a little bit more like heavy attack resistance than zoanthropes do. But okay, I want to break down the way that beam damaged him. You can kind of see a moment within the damage here. Ooh, see right here. He does have health left. Wow, that was, oh my god. Very, very good pause right there. But he does have health left, and he still goes down. So the death beam hit twice. It had to, because we do see the initial damage from it on the health bar. And it's not his full health. See, exactly. At the moment when I paused it, there was like a sliver of health, and he goes down with it. So that means he got hit again, and yes, he went down. So, yes, this is a bug. It has to be. And I have to say, this needs to be fixed, because this player does not deserve to go down in this situation. And this is basically a really bad look at what can actually go wrong with the zoanthrope death beam that we kind of ignored for quite a bit, I feel like, since the sniper has been really good. But, there's not a sniper on this team. The tactical should be in a position to take care of these. And honestly, he was in a position to take care of the zoanthropes. He does land a gunstrike. Should have been stunned out of this attack. I just think that's a really good way to, deal with zoanthropes. Maybe don't give them, like, poise through a bugged attack. That is insanely unfortunate. So we're going to go into the comments to see if this, is a real bug that happens all the time, or if it comes up just here and there. I really hope it's something here and there. But yeah, no, the death beams are not a one-shot, or they shouldn't be a one-shot in Ruthless, and especially a double death beam. Like, holy cow, that's wild. That goes through walls, by the way, sometimes. I think there are walls that get in between the death beam. Like, you really need one of those large walls. You need some good walls to get rid of the death beams, man. Pretty sure it's their buggy beam doing double hits. Here we have a good image of, when I was trying to attempt to pause it. And yes, that is a sliver of health that was still available after that first hit of the beam. But then a second hit follows through just to take him down, practically, out of nowhere. This seems about right for one instance of damage, but the next frame after this, your entire contested health is gone, and you just start to take a second instance of damage that just kills you. Yeah, that is very unfortunate. I'm not 100% sure if there is a way to survive this scenario, to be completely honest. I mean, even if you have full armor, maybe getting hit by the beam would put you at 1, but that still feels a little crazy for Ruthless. The perfect dodge was fantastic, but then the second beam came and ruined it. I'm appalled personally. The second beam feels faster than the first. Also not sure damage of the beam seems random. Okay, so as I was looking through these comments, I mean, this is a relatively new clip, but I really don't see a lot of discussion based on if this is an actual double hit bug and like the details of that. It obviously, something was wrong. He was hit twice by one beam. But if this is not a bug and this is just something that happens all the time, that is definitely a problem. So ultimately, let me know in the comments if you have any more information on if this is a bug or if this is something that just always happens. I would really hope this is something that occasionally happens, like maybe the second beam, for whatever reason, hits twice and it's not like a first beam bug, you know what I mean? But yeah, what this person is saying about the damage feeling random, I feel like is interesting because, yeah, it doesn't seem like a double hit beam bug is something that is being talked about at the moment. I didn't really see that coming. I thought if the zoanthrope was hitting twice, double beams, we would have more information on that. But yeah, maybe we don't have more information on this. Maybe this is a second beam bug, and that's why, people aren't running into it as often, because for whatever reason, maybe they're just not getting hit by beams or whatever. Maybe they're getting hit by the first one and don't really realize the second one's hitting an extra 2 times. I don't know. That's why I kind of need some help here in the comments. But this is interesting about the second beam also coming out faster. I think it's really interesting that first beam technically isn't very gun strikeable in that sense, even without the bug considered or the potential bug considered. That second beam still interrupted that gun strike. that second beam came out so fast and just absolutely ruined that moment that should have been rewarded. And yeah, I really hope the devs take a second look at these beam attacks. At least in moments like this, it feels like you kind of do your players a disservice a little bit by applying a gun strike mechanic to a death beam that immediately punishes them. So, I don't know. The only attack in the game I consider truly BS is the beam, and it's simply because the speed at which the beam accelerates is rapidly increasing and makes it extremely hard to both learn and react to. I find the best thing to do against them is to stand directly below the neurothrope or the zoanthrope and walk in circles as the beam doesn't track quickly enough to follow your direction. Holy cow, that is a good way to put that. I definitely want to try that out. Very, very good advice there. But yeah, what he's talking about with the accelerating beam. I just remembered that I have a tad bit of a theory on this situation. So we all know in the higher difficulties, hitboxes are a bit wider. Like you can, the things you can get away with in lower difficulties as far as like late dodges or, maybe just dodging out of the way of area of effect attacks or anything like that. It definitely can register damage sometimes a bit late, or at least that feels like some of the wider hitboxes in higher difficulties. It feels like sometimes it hits you. Definitely it feels like a bit of a delayed hit. Like what I'm going to refer to is the fire cyclones. Try to dodge one of those on a lower difficulty and then try to dodge one of those on the higher difficulty and notice exactly where you get hit in the higher difficulty. I can practically guarantee to you that it's definitely going to be outside of the fire cyclone. And now, okay, practically guarantees probably a hyperbole. I should say this is definitely an interesting theory, and I'm not 100% sure about this. Holy cow. But yes, the reason why I have this theory is because of spore mines. There was a moment when I was just doing some average grinding, average difficulty. I was just, leveling up my bulwark, just, having fun, just kicking back. And regardless, there was spore mines that showed up. And I had this spore mine that was kind of just floating around with me. So I was like, hey, you know what? As soon as this thing goes in for, a spore mine attack, I'm going to dodge it. And it worked. It worked pretty well. And I was like, oh, wow, that felt a lot easier than higher difficulties. So I think disproportionately, some of these area of effect attacks are being a tad bit more buffed than what I would expect as far as, the higher difficulties and how they tweak those, wider hitboxes. So you just really have to be careful, I think, in higher difficulties. And yeah, definitely let me know if you have any theories about this double death beam or anything like this. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on these hitboxes as far as higher difficulties compared to lower difficulties, because we shouldn't get hit outside of attacks. You know what I mean? I don't think it's an issue as far as things like melee attacks or anything. Like, I want my parries to be, on time for higher difficulties, because that it feels, first of all, it protects you, but also it feels very good to get like a perfect parry on absolute, knowing that that is the closest window you can get for a parry. But I feel like the enemies get a tad bit of a buff as well for their area of effect attacks, and I just don't know if the trade-off there is very balanced or whatever. This may be a thing that's never addressed again. This may not be addressed again. Maybe I need a separate video for it or something. But regardless, this does seem to be on the subject here of, hitbox bugs and, getting damaged by things that are bugs. So ultimately, I definitely need some help from you guys in the comments. Let me know how you guys feel about that second death beam. Is it hitting twice? Is it just the second death beam? Is it death beams in general are hitting twice? Have you ever been hit twice by one death beam before? Regardless, we are definitely going to deep dive into some hitbox bugs here. So, thanks for watching.